$20 million a year selling shower grates and just now entering into the US.
2,000 stores across Australia and New Zealand, employing approximately 150 people. Everyone's got horror stories of China, but this was my horror story.
You got robbed
Yeah.
of $200,000 the week before.
Thanks for reminding me. So I got on the first plane, we got over there and realised they had welded the shop up and they were gone. So everything was gone. I'd had 150 odd different businesses purchasing off me. I had to do something pretty quick.
This is actually real shit. This Aussie white dude over there setting up a manufacturing plant in the middle of nowhere in China.
So we set our own factory up, started doing everything we had to do. Now we employ pretty much the whole village.
This dude was bankrupt in 2008.
My son was just born.
So married, son's just born,
Yep.
on your knees,
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah.
How did you bring yourself out of it?
It's hard to talk about, guys.
Hey there, here's a fun but sad fact for us. Most people who love our content are still not subscribed to the channel. Now, here's the deal that I will make with you. If you can find it in your heart to click on the little subscribe button below, I promise you that we will get better and better guests on this show so that we can interview them for you to give you better and deeper insights from people that have really done some crazy good stuff. That's the deal. If you click on that little subscribe button, hit the notifications bell as well, we would be deeply grateful and we'll make a better show for you going forward. I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Unemployable. We are here on Super Bowl Sunday in the US, Super Bowl Monday in Australia, and we have an absolutely epic session ahead of us today. I cannot wait for you guys to meet today's guest. But as always, how is everybody today? James, what's going on?
Oh, mate, very well. Very well indeed. Had a great weekend. We had the Unemployable coaching boat day on Saturday, which is a runaway bestseller from all accounts, and Eric inappropriately dressed once again, so we'll more to follow on that though.
Eric, how are you, buddy?
Honestly, I'm good. It was good. It was a great Saturday, honestly. The energy that was in the room, that was in the boat, having everyone come to the studio, it was amazing.
Yeah, we had, for those of you unaware of what we're talking about, we had 70 of our coaching clients from around the country join us here on the Gold Coast on the weekend. We took them for a private backstage tour of Eric's company, the MX store, down in Burleigh Heads. Him and his two business partners were kind enough to let us go through. It's one of Australia's, is Australia's largest online MX retailer. You can look it up online. Over $100 million a year in revenue, more than 170 staff. And for a lot of people, that was such an eye-opening experience to see in real life a business that has just done the right thing for over a decade, one of the Gold Coast's business success stories. And then we took them on a boat and cruised the Broadwater for a bit, which is fun. And we took them here to the studio and then we had dinner together. So it was a great day. What was really interesting is the combined revenue of our clients that were there that day was over $200 million on the boat and throughout the day. So when you're thinking about growing your networks, what a great room to be in.
Yeah.
And speaking of Gold Coast success stories, Tim, welcome to the pod. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. Pretty excited to be here, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sitting with you guys, lads. It's, I'm pretty jazzed about what's happening today.
Yeah, guys, today we have Tim Dawson in the studio. And for those of you who don't know Tim, and that would be most of the people, because you're a bit like Eric, you're sort of this dark horse, under the radar Gold Coast dude who's built a phenomenal business, and congratulations on your success. I love these stories, especially when they come from the Gold Coast, because I've read about you in interviews, and you, like us, are a real champion for the Gold Coast and how it's becoming a place where there are real businesses here. Tim's built a business, started in 2010 selling shower grates, and currently on track to do around $20 million a year selling shower grates throughout the country, and just now entering into the US. So this is an exceptional story that we're going to get right into today. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, as always, guys, say that if you do enjoy the pod, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We read all the comments. We do really listen to what you're saying. We are finding our stride now, I think. We're getting into our groove. We know what we're doing. And each week we're trying to get better. But your comments really do matter. And the reason the subscription matters, guys, is the more subscribers we have, the better the quality of guests we're able to attract to the show. People like Tim don't need to be here. He comes here to inspire others and to help others on their journey. And the bigger the audience, the more the motivation to actually come on and share. So with that being said, we're going to jump right in today. We haven't got too much preamble or banter. We really want to unpack, Tim, how you've gotten on this journey. So for the listeners at home, just give us the headline numbers of your business, and then we're going to start right back at the beginning, because for many people listening, they're just starting out or they're just scaling up, but you've been through it all. You've been bankrupt, you've recovered from bankruptcy, you've gone on to build a multi-8-figure business, but just give us the headline numbers of where you are today.
Yeah, current terms today, we're looking just nudging the 20 million mark on a global scale, even though the global's just started. So 80% of that is predominant Australian revenue. 2,000 stores across Australia and New Zealand, and expanding rapidly into the US. And employing approximately 150 people across 5 different countries, from the manufacturing to the selling to the marketing.
That's incredible. So when you say 2,000 stores, those are retailers that are selling your product. And one of the things that really caught my attention is you started off with 1,000 products, and then you've reduced it to 1, and you've gone from there. So that alone is going to be a whole conversation in itself. Sure. But Eric, you've known Tim for a while now. Maybe you want to kick off with some of the questions and get the conversation rolling, because you've known him for a long time. You've seen him along the way. Actually, I might ask the first question now that I think of it. I read in one of the articles, you said that you had a background in electrical, you've had a background in cabinet making, real estate and construction. Yes. And one of the quotes I read in an article, I love this quote. You said, "I know what it's like to be using materials that are not up to scratch, and I've worked with products where it's clear that the person who made it never used it." How much of that sort of has been the basis of your success at Lauxes Grates?
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I really got sick and tired trying to install or work with people, especially contractors, trades, on projects where they purchase the product and you try to install it, doesn't work. It doesn't suit our environment. That's what took me on the journey 14 years ago, to find a product that actually worked for the Australian market. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't realise that stuff's not made for this market.
Yeah.
We just buy it. We just put up with whatever's on the shelf, and we go and use it. So that's where, every product that I've developed has been to better the product, to ensure that it actually works for the person that's put it in, to make it quicker, more efficient, and more cost effective as well.
So for people at home, what we might do is we might bring up the website quickly. Greg, you can throw this up and let us see, because I think that serves as a really good foundation, so people know what we're talking about when we talk about Lauxes Grates, Grates, lauxesgrates.com. These are vertical shower grates, right? Is that basically it? How would you describe the product?
It's a linear floor channel system. So a linear drain for the Americans listening, or a grate. We like to play the word grate because it is great. Everything we've developed from traditional, it's always been made out of stainless steel. The problem with stainless steel is that you can't manipulate it as easy. It needs to be manufactured. And a simple product or a little simple process in a project would hold up multiple trades if you're trying to customise one. So coming up with something that was customisable. Made of anodised aluminium, it can be cut, manipulated on site in front of you, where we just cut all that downtime out. Doesn't matter if there's a mistake, you can easily rectify it with the product on site. So there's no waiting anymore. It makes boring TV because it just works for the types of shows out there that are trying to make a bit of drama around it. It's just easy.
And so builders love this product, because I noticed that you had a 25-year guarantee against. What are the challenges that traditional solutions didn't solve that you solved?
Yeah, just everyone's making product that doesn't last as long. Obviously looking for repeat business. I don't think that's a great foundation for a business to start. I'm looking for something that's going to have longevity. It's going to outlast your ideas of colour creation. People are going to renovate before they pull this stuff out. So we saw that time frame speeding up now. So I wanted to make sure that the product does last, and that gives that quality of guarantee to customers, to the end consumers, to the trades using it, that it's going to be still there. in another 20 years' time.
So what was your background exactly prior to launching Lauxes? So it says here cabinet making, electrical. Yep. So take us back to the beginning. Where did you start?
Started in the building and cabinet game. So making cabinets, dropped out of school when I was 15. Really, school wasn't for me. I was pretty good with my hands, making stuff. So starting with cabinet making, and then by the time I was 19, I'd started my electrical apprenticeship because cabinet making wasn't doing it for me. So I did my electrical apprenticeship. I was fully qualified by just a couple of months shy of being 21. And then I kicked off my own adventure when I was 21. So I started my own electrical business, grew and scaled that. Through that journey, I acquired my builder's license, started building and developing properties as well as doing electrical. And I founded my real estate license as well, started selling some of the development that I was doing. So I had a bit of entrepreneurial ADD, just wanted to do a bit of everything. And then, that's when that's when everything sort of started coming crashing down. I didn't do business, I didn't understand business, I didn't know how to do it.
When you say came crashing down, what are you referring to?
So what happened, I underestimated, obviously, my numbers in the business. So that's the biggest key takeaway for me in the lessons that I've had is understanding your business through your numbers. I didn't value the tax system. I honestly I was flying blind. And at the end, through that journey, doing all the good things, great rapport building, great relationships, but I couldn't hold off the Australian Tax Office any longer, and they're the ones that sent me bankrupt. So it was obviously, looking back now, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and at the time it certainly wasn't.
What year was this?
2008. Yeah.
And that was across which business, or all of them combined?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the setup was I didn't. That was all personal.
Right. So the whole lot went under.
Yeah, everything.
So you lost everything in 2008.
Everything.
And a lot of that was just to do with tax planning.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
So what you didn't have an accountant or mentorship or?
Nope, nothing.
Yeah.
To be honest, there was a lot of ego driving it. I thought I knew everything.
Yep.
And I'd been in business and looking at other people that were 28 years old as well, and I'm like, they're still living with their mum, and I'm working hard and I've got all these businesses going on. I'm doing all this great stuff, but it didn't. That didn't matter. I didn't know what I didn't know, and through this journey I've had to learn this stuff.
So what was the rebuild phase from that, from the call it rock bottom? You've lost everything, you've gone tits up in 2008. What was that turnaround period from starting the Lauxes Grates in 2010?
Yep. So the first and foremost, obviously not being able to run or manage a business is difficult. So I'm like, what can I do? So that was where I really lent into some of these ideas around the lighting products, lineal grates, toilet, tapware, you name it. That's how it scaled in a few years to 1,100 different products that I'd put together, and I was trying to market or sell into the marketplace. So all these concepts, it was difficult. To be honest, in that first few years, I felt like I got myself out of the rut by doing all this stuff, but I was still quite naive to what had happened. And even though I was broken, I didn't want to run the business. I didn't want to do anything. All I wanted to do was just hide behind the scenes and make product, because that's what I know how to do best. I can engineer, manufacture anything.
So what did you do to pull yourself out of that, like mentally? Because there was no such thing as ice baths back then, and meditation and all this stuff, Like that helped with this type of thing. But like, you're 28 years old.
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
You've had multiple businesses, doing some developments, making money. Then all of a sudden the ATO comes in, punches you in the face, sends you bankrupt.
Yeah.
No kids at that time?
Yeah. My son was just born.
The son was just born. So married, son's just born.
Yep.
On your knees.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
How did you bring yourself out of it? Who was your support system? What did you do?
Oh, it's hard to talk about it, guys. It's pretty.
It's heavy.
When you say it back like that, it definitely brings flashbacks. I was pretty broken, so the underneath level, I was very broken, but I didn't want people to see that. I didn't want people to know what had gone on. I didn't tell any of my family. I didn't tell anyone. I kept all that to myself. So on the surface level, everything looked smooth and coasting along like a duck, just cruising across the top of the water. But underneath, there's all this franticness, and that was all my anxiety, worry, concern. At that stage, The Secret and was one of the books that I'd read, and Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, was something, I don't know how I kicked across it or how I picked it up, and I never read a book since grade 6. Never picked up.
That's the book that changed my life as well.
Yeah. And I picked it up, read it, and went, wow, this is pretty interesting. So it was through that little bit of inspiration to just grab myself off the ground, and then look to, okay, if I've screwed this up, how can I get around this? How can I speak to people that haven't screwed it up? Look for further inspiration. So I guess it took a few years. To say, the first few years I was quite broken and upset with myself. But then after that, then I started to build a network of people that actually believed in what I was doing, a network of people that supported what I was doing, not just sitting there having a pity party with me and blaming the tax office and blaming all the things that went wrong or the guy that owed me money and all these sorts of issues. The more I uncovered, and there's people out there that want to support it.
How did you actually do that though? You're sitting there in 2008, you've got a young child, you're probably dealing with shame and anxiety all at one time.
Yeah.
You're completely unemployable because it's all you've ever done since you were 21.
Yeah.
I've been in business since I was 21. I couldn't do a job. So you got no money, I'm assuming. You can't borrow money. You can't be a director. You said you were creating products in the background. So how do you, because I know a lot of people use it as an excuse, and they're not bankrupt, they're just broke, right? But they're not dealing with the anxiety and shame that would come with bankruptcy and having to manage all this hiding of stuff, right? I went through a similar thing. I didn't go bankrupt, but I went through very tough times. How did you actually, like you said, you were making products. So how do you make products when you've got no money? How do you build a network when you feel embarrassed and not your best self? What were you actually doing at that time to stay in the game from that extremely disadvantaged position?
So right from the 2010 mark, that's where I claim from where the concept and everything started, was my first entry into Asia. That was my first entry over there. And at that time, my silent partner, or my partner in crime, he had connections and had a shed full of random product, that he thought was okay for his building and projects. And when I looked at it all, I said, you're never going to sell any of this. Australia doesn't want this garbage. Let's fire sale this stuff. And with the money that we make out of this fire sale, we'll turn it into some real product. Buy this product, buy this light, buy this fitting. And that's sort of how it got started, with no money, because it was just turning someone's misfortune of buying the wrong stuff and turn it into real stuff. So I did car park sales, garage sales.
Wow.
I did everything I could to get rid of this stuff. Rung mates and said, this stuff's no good, but I'll sell it to you cheap. So yeah.
Is that when I met you? You were trying to sell me cheap Chinese shit?
That's exactly how we met. You're on the hunt for it. So
Touche. Yeah. No wonder my house flooded.
You love it, cheap, don't you, mate?
So that's literally the ground of it. It was just turning an opportunity, or turning those items into a bit of cash, and then being more selective with what I was purchasing.
So I just want to make the point here, because when you're listening to somebody like Tim, you're listening to somebody who's unconsciously competent, which means he has become successful, but they quite often haven't put together how they do what they do.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And so what was just said there, that in the remnants of this terrible situation was a relationship. Yeah. And was one of the remaining things when you lose all else are your relationships, is your network. There was one guy who had some stuff and then trusted Tim still, that he partnered with and was able to rise from the ashes from. And this is why it's so important to respect and invest in relationships. Would you agree with that?
100%. And through the whole process it's still helping people, looking after people. And that's how obviously the conversation come about. This particular fellow was in and out of the country quite regularly, and I could see that he had some issues or problems, be able to attend to stuff when he was away. And I knew I had a little bit of time because I wasn't as busy as I used to be. So I started helping him.
You started providing value to this guy, and you said your first entry into China. So did you go to a trade show or something to source these? Now you've got a little bit of capital that's come in from this dude. You're working as the behind the scenes dude.
Correct.
Walk us through what you actually did to find these products.
So, entering Asia for the first time at one of the largest trade fairs in the world called the Canton Fair. Walking through that place, it changed my life. It just opened my eyes to where a lot of this product does come from, who it's made for, and that realization was that everyone's going over there asking for product essentially off the shelf for ideas that they've already got, and then bringing it back here to the Australian market and trying to sell it. And that's why we have this problem of that product doesn't suit here. That light fitting's not for this country. That tap or that faucet, that isn't meant for the Australian market. So that's when the creative.
Yeah, you said in this article that people are always screaming about the poor quality in China. It's all crap, but nobody's over there training them, teaching them to the standards, which is kind of what you saw as the opportunity. Everyone else saw it as the reason not to do it.
Yep.
And like most entrepreneurs, you go, this is the hard, and I'm going to lean into it, attack the hard thing, which is to teach them.
Yep.
And that's been the basis of Lauxes' success.
100%.
So with those 1,000 products from, as you first kicked off, sold the shitty products, as you said, and then started restocking with better quality products that were more selected for best use case. Were you selling, I know Lauxes is more so B2B now, but did you do an online e-com? Did you have 1,000 SKUs online? Were you running traffic? Talk us through that bit before you got the evolution of where Lauxes is today.
Sure. Yeah, no, I was trying to be everything to everyone.
Right.
Trying to set up e-commerce, sell to trade, sell to guys like Eric on the weekend that was kicking around looking for some cheap stuff. I was trying to do it all. I was trying to cover it all. Train people to sell to stores, sell to consumer market. I learned a lot in that first few years.
So what were some of the items that, how broad were you going here? Was it just anything that goes in a house or what?
Yeah.
Because 1,000's a lot. Was it 1,000 different products, or was it 110 different colours?
No. It was 1,000 different products.
You should have seen his warehouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was everything.
Everything.
Plumbing fixtures, LED lights, glass balustrading, spigots, rail, just
artificial grass, flooring, tiles. You name it.
What was the moment that you just went, fuck this is the wrong plan, time to change?
I know the exact moment, and that was sitting through a program, and that program has changed names over the years, but it's called ProTrade United now. It's a program where I sat down month to month and work on the business, and that whole concept was quite foreign to me at the time, because I'm like, I don't need to work on it, I need to work in it. I need to roll my sleeves up. I'm a hard worker. I'm just going to keep working in it, and they're the ones that taught me to, and that's only been 10 years. So like I said, that first 3 or 4 years in business, I was doing all these crazy things, and to be honest, I was going pretty close to going bankrupt again. I was turning over quite a few $1 million, but not making much money. And that's when I started with ProTrade United, and they sat through, and one of the mentors said, right, what's your top 10 products? What's your most profitable? What's unique to the market? And all these questions I've never been asked before. I never asked myself. So we listed them out. I said, right, what would it look like if you spent more time working on these 10? Don't worry about the 1,000. So I met him halfway, culled it down to about 150 lines. Still wanting to chase it. Then within 12 months, I'd culled all retail traffic, shut the e-com, and just went brick and mortar, B2B business.
How did that make you feel when you had to actually, take 1,000 products and cull it down to 150? Because, it's not easy to get rid of things,
Lighter, personally, when I look back on it, but scarier. I'm hedging all my bets. I'm putting it all into one thing. That wasn't me.
That's not what you used to do, right? Because you're always doing multiple things on multiple products.
And I had to look busy, right? I had to look busy because I was doing this, and I had this guy on the go, and I had this running, and I was just constantly, forever trying to prove that worth.
Was that ego?
Yeah, ego was still driving it.
Where did it come from?
I don't know. I think the ego part for me was thinking I knew it all, and I could do it. And as soon as the ego mind started calming down, and I started looking a bit further beyond past what I could see in front of me, that's when I realised that, there was power there. There was deeper relationships that I was creating. There was, another way of doing things. It wasn't just so black and white. I guess the more that I've sort of put away the ego mindset or that driver, which is hard in business. You think you've got to be egotistic, but you don't. So that's sort of when I went into the back shadows and went, right, I'm not going to drive this business from the front. I'm just going to do it from the back, behind the scenes. If people don't like this good product that I've put together, then so be it. Obviously I failed.
And this site or business that went down to 150 SKUs, that's pre-Lauxes, right? That wasn't called Lauxes then. That was
there's reminiscence of it, but
right.
It wasn't just Lauxes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's that 1,000 products was probably a vanity metric in some ways, being able to say to people, right, I've got 1,000 products, it makes you sound big, right? But at the end of the day, it's results that we're after, right? And there's a terrific book called Built to Sell by John Warrilow. Mm-hmm. And for those who haven't read it, this is a book about a graphic design company, and he's doing websites, he's doing logos, he's doing fly, and he uses it as an example. And he says, the guy, what are you great at? He says, I'm great at logos. That's my superpower. And he said, all right, we're going to stop every other service and just become great at logos, and we're going to increase the price, and we're going to do this and that. And they ended up creating this logo business that they sold for millions of dollars. And it's just this story about exactly what you've said, about becoming outstanding at something, finding the thing. And the other thing I really picked up there, and I think a lot of people listening to this, they need to be aware of their own biases, and sometimes you can pride yourself on something that's imprisoning you. Mm-hmm. And so as a tradesman, you are so proud of the fact that you're hard-working. And I remember mentoring somebody years ago, and he said, Adam, you wouldn't know a hard day's work if it hit you in the face. And I said, you wouldn't know a smart day's work if it hit you in the face. And he sat there and went, oh, shit. I said, your problem is you've got a tradie mentality, and you value hard work above smart work. And I said, you need to have both. Like, I'm not saying don't work hard. Everybody's working hard, but you were like, I've got to work hard, but not so hard that you don't have time to learn, because without the learning, like this Trades United, did you say?
Pro Trade United, it's called, yeah.
Sounds like a great organisation.
100%, yeah.
And those questions, having that outside perspective, I mean, it's amazing that we're allowed to register a business without actually having to pass some of those basic questions.
Yeah.
Eric?
What are some of the financial habits that you've implemented now since that first failure and almost a second failure?
Yeah, it's the numbers part. Yeah, the biggest thing, and my quote through my journey for nearly 10 years through Pro Trade has been know your numbers. And if you don't know your numbers, then essentially you're driving blind. Yeah. And the analogy I've always used is, would you take a car out on the road and onto the highway without knowing how much gas is left, how fast you're going, where you're heading to? It's blind, and it'd be scary.
Yeah, so it's like going to a destination, driving through a blizzard, and you can't see, but you just keep on driving.
You just keep driving.
And this is what I tell everybody that I've mentored and coached over the years is you have to know your numbers, right? And it's amazing how many people have no idea about numbers. I had a question from a student the other day going, oh, I see that you follow this person. Have you done their course? I said, no, I just follow them. But I'm like, what else are you looking for? Why are you looking for something else? And then they're like, yeah, it's probably just going to be more noise, more distraction. And then I asked, do you understand how to read financial statements properly? And they were like, not really. I'm like, that's where you need to start. And you know what? If you go on YouTube, it's all free.
It's just not sexy, Eric.
It's not sexy, but the excuse is, oh, I'm not good at that.
No.
Well, if you're good at making logos and you're good at making something else and you're not good at your numbers and you're not going to commit to know your numbers, go work for someone else, because at some point you'll probably be in the same position you were, right, on your ass, bankrupt, and that's not a good feeling, right?
No.
So yeah, I love this part because You know, that financial intelligence is everything.
And it's not that difficult once you put your mind to it to understand the profit loss, the balance sheet. It's like, and again, it's just another language, right?
I bought an online course. I read the Kiyosaki book, and he said if you don't speak the language of business, which is how a cash flow statement works, balance sheet works, then you're not in business. Like get out, you're going to hurt yourself and other people. Yeah. And I went online and I bought a course. I said it in a recent podcast. I was not too proud to go and spend the $97 or whatever it was on Udemy. Yep. Bought a couple of them until I fully understood what a P&L was, how a cash flow statement works. It's where so many people get into trouble. They get into trouble with the ATO. They get into trouble with not understanding their liabilities. I lost my first bit of money. I said to people, I made my first $1 million by the time I was 23, and I lost it by 25. I didn't lose it. I know exactly where it went.
And
but tax would have been lovely to know about.
And don't rely on your accountants, right?
No. Don't rely on your accountants.
Like I've seen that many P&Ls as of late that are incorrect. Yes. With the incorrect items on a P&L that should be sitting on a balance sheet, as an example, right? So just because they give you the paperwork and it's done, don't rely on that. You need to know your numbers yourself so that way you can question the accountant.
We had a client who's recently had all of their cost of goods sold in their COGS against their revenue for their entire container. And we're like, hang on, I'm losing all this money. I'm like, those COGS there, how are those COGS against those sales? I go, no, that's the whole container. I'm like, no wonder you're freaking losing money because you're accounting for the whole container against it's just like basic stuff like that. And it's just, you're not taught. You say in Australia, you just go and register a company with ASIC and you're off the directors.
And so with the Pro Trade United, that was then, do you still continue the mentorship with them?
Yeah, absolutely. So now I sit on their mentor program. I'm mentoring some of the new people coming through. I'm technically one of their better students that have come through the program. I guess why I'm still invested in the value of that business is that it's teaching the trade. You know, we talk about trade or construction contractors. They don't know how to run a business. You know, like I said, it's easy just to roll up in your van at the registry's office and open up an account and start business. But that's not what it's all about.
So giving back there from what you've learnt, which is great.
Absolutely.
And since you've a little bit like my story, I've really picked up a book since I was made to in primary school or whatever. But after the Kiyosaki book, you've done the Pro Trade now. What else are you doing as far as filling the head with the good stuff?
It's just regiment now, the rhythm for working on the business. Sitting on different mentor programs. So mentor program through Pro Trade United, also as part participant still through that, working on the business, sitting on other boards to keep the brain fresh in other businesses that are similar size, having those challenges that they're working on, continuing to deeper stuff now. It's from meditation to still reading books to not really ice baths just yet. But
let's get in. We'll get into that stuff a little bit later. What I want to do is get us back on track with this story. So you've gone from being bankrupt. You've gone and sold your mate's stuff, raised some cash. Yep. How much cash did you raise from that exercise? I just want to get some metrics around this and really get into the granular of how you climbed from bankrupt to 20 million a year, and talk a little bit about the funding path. How did you fund it? Was it just from growth? But let's talk about, you sold this stuff. How much cash did that get you? And then what did you do with that cash? And how did you, let's go a little bit step by step through that.
Yeah, so we had so many different things on the go at the time. So from construction to projects to individual trips. So a lot of stuff was sourced just for ourselves, just to put into the projects.
So you were developing still at this time?
Yeah. My partner was developing.
Townhouses kind of stuff, or?
Yeah, upmarket houses through Broadbeach.
Okay, so upmarket houses through Broadbeach. So this is your business partner. You're helping him develop those.
Yep.
And you're buying this stuff from China and putting it into your own projects and then selling it.
Correct.
As a side business as well. So that's really interesting that you're actually in the trade, you're understanding the problems, right? And this is important for people to understand. You are very close to the reality of these products in the real world.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing the projects, you're compounding the money out of that. And is Lauxes yours, or have you got a business partner in it?
It's like a partnership in the Australian side, yeah.
Yeah, great, okay. Yeah. So you two of you are doing this stuff, and then you're developing these products and selling it. You got to 1,000 SKUs. So this is just compounding money, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so you're compounding this capital. How much did you raise from selling that stuff? Ballpark. Are we talking 10 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand?
Oh, a few hundred, yeah.
A few hundred grand.
Yeah, a few hundred grand.
Okay.
Because each container at the time, we're probably doing 3 or 4 containers coming in each month. they would have anywhere valued from 20, 30 grand each.
Okay.
Okay,
so the relationship's super important here, right? Like you got this great trusting relationship with somebody that believed in you and helped, which is wonderful. Yeah. So the containers are coming in, and so then you get to this point where you peak at 1,000, you get intervention from this coaching, and then how long did it take you to get from this 1,000 to 150 and then 150 down to, you know what, screw it, we're going all in on, what was that journey on the Lauxes Grates?
So that was only 8 years ago. So 8 years ago, that's when I rebranded to Lauxes Grates, and that was wholly and solely in just grates. So prior to that, for the first 6 years, I said that first 3 years was all the different combination. Then I scaled it down to 150. That lasted for about a couple of years. So about that 6 year mark 6 years in, that was the tipping point. It was like, we're only selling grate. And
what made you go all in on the grates? Just
the numbers, and gut feeling, knowing that there was still nothing else there like it. There was nothing around that was anything similar. It wasn't servicing the market the way it should. And it was making at this stage 80% of my revenue. So it was like, let's make it 100% of our revenue.
So it was one of the products.
One of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So bankrupt 2008, 2010 you started the rebuild.
Yep.
And then 6 years, so 2016 of just figuring out. So I want people to really hear that, right? Like, don't miss that, because it's easy looking at Tim today going, oh, this dude's done 20 million. This dude was bankrupt in 2008, 2 years of licking his wounds and recovering and going through the shit. I very similar to him. I was down to my last $4,000 in 2008. I almost went bankrupt. I was right on the edge. It took me 2 years just to dig myself out of the hole and have enough confidence to put my face out there again. And then it was 6 years from that point of reserving the apprenticeship before you found the winning product. Everybody listening at home needs to hear that, because it is not an easier path than a 6 year college education or university degree. It's just a different path. Yep. And with a lot more pain. I'll just say pain. I was going to say something else there, but you can fill in the blanks of what was I saying. So so it took you 6 years, and then you finally got to, right, I found this product 6 years later, and then you went, and we're going to create a separate company here just on these vertical draining systems.
Yeah. So given that I reassessed every product, what sort of volume we're selling, what were people engaged with. And I remember taking that product 10 years ago. I went door knocking, and I took this, little piece of or sample of it, and knocked on 100 doors, and 97 of them went, nah, mate, no thanks, get out. And I thought, that's strange, because I thought it was a pretty good product. So me being the face, going out there and asking for the business, essentially didn't work, and that's why I come back and went, I'll make something else. So I continued to make other products, thinking that the market or the people that I was talking to, it wasn't resonating with them. Even though I knew it was okay, it was certainly served a purpose, and it solved a problem that was in the market. So I had a few friends that are still using it, but they just didn't have that impact at the time when I was reaching out to market. Hence why I kept scattering around trying to make more products. I'll make something else. I'll do a tap. That'll be better, and that spigot will be better, and that bit of glass, and become more price orientated more so than unique. And so from more books and more mentoring, it was look for the unique lines, things that have got a bit more margin, that's a bit more unique to me. That like I said, that apprenticeship in that 6 years was finding feet. There's heaps of failures in that. Heaps of product I spent lots of money on.
It's that product where people go, oh shit, I haven't seen that before. Is that what you're saying? That immediate
Yeah, and that was the unique side. I thought it had that unique value at the start. I just didn't give it the time, because my entrepreneurial ADD was like, I spoke to two people. Nah, they didn't want it.
Yeah, it just needed a bit more time in the market.
It did need a bit more
time. And how much time did that take before you turned from 3 out of 100 to more than that?
At least 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So real time.
Yeah. And it took, like I said, and then even at that 6 year mark, or even at the rebrand. At the rebrand 8 years ago, which it was just Lauxes Grates, at that particular point, I had 24 wholesalers and only selling $750,000 of.
And how many wholesalers today?
Over 2,000.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to ask one more question here. For the people sitting there listening, a young builder, a young tradie who wants to get out of being on the tools and wants to know how to transition to being a product owner like this, you said you went knocking on doors. What does that actually mean? You mean you turned up to work sites cold, you picked up the phone and set an appointment. Actually, what did you do?
Well, that decision making of wanting to do business with other businesses, I didn't know what that looked like. And rather than send someone else, I did it myself. So I got an appointment setter. I had someone make a phone call for me and say, hey, the boss is coming. He's going to introduce you to a product. So that appointment setter was just cold calling every single plumbing store, hardware store and tiling store in the whole country. So in that first few years, I knocked on every single door in this country. Every single tiling store, every single plumbing store and every single hardware store.
So they literally would make an appointment over the phone to make sure the person would be there in store.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
And I'd turn up and I'd show them a product. And like I said, at the start, the majority of them said, no thanks.
Are they open to that? Like, is that how it works in that business? You cold call and you just make an appointment?
I didn't know any other way at the time. I had no idea how people do it.
And it worked, obviously.
Well, at the start it didn't. It was persistency. So persistent and consistent, and understanding what those real problems or needs were from those stores. I got no one to buy this. No one wants to buy this.
And then you've got other. That's the point about differentiation. It's like what makes your grate so special to the other grates. And I'm assuming even to get more granular and what's the knock on the door look like. What was the pitch? I mean, a grate's a grate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until you put them side by side and then convert them into and then they've got to convert their tradies into using your product as well. So you've got to get them to sell your idea as well. So it's a two-part sale, right?
100%. And that's what we learned in the early stages. Like not just convincing the customer to purchase it, which our customers are a tile-based business or a plumbing-based business. It was converting the trade, educating the market. So I'm like, I've got to educate the market as well. These realizations or these light bulb moments through the journey is like, okay, how do I educate the market? So we started educating the market through the different channels that everyone's educating people with, giving them samples to give out to their cusumers.
Because it's different, like what was in the market was like drain, it's a circle.
Yeah, circle drain.
You've got this long type
So
setup.
from a centre waste, which is quite traditional, everyone's used to seeing a round or a little square waste in the centre of their bathroom or around outside areas, or the gap between that and something that was made of traditional stainless steel, which you'd have to mortgage your house to purchase one to put one in. That's where we found that gap. The gap is anodized aluminium. It's a hell of a lot more affordable material.
And it's flush with the floor, right, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's flush with the floor, easy to cut and easy to fall your tiles to the drain.
So in this article I read, it said here that you were doing 132-hour weeks at one stage. You worked 7 days a week. Your diet was appalling. I was living off baked beans and 8 cans of V energy drink per day.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's it's amazing. I've had friends go through similar, and sometimes they don't bounce back so well from that. But that's real work.
A real work, yeah. Not just on the business, with myself, with my relationships, with my family, with my kids.
Did you have to make deals with your family? Like, how did you hold your family together through that? Because you got 3 kids, right?
Yeah.
How did that? Was that challenging?
Yeah, real challenging. I miss some, I miss some vital things in their life. I wasn't around because I was traveling. I was working hard, doing 130 hours. You don't really have much time to spend with other people. So finding that real balance now in that entrepreneurial ADD that I've got, to make sure that I go really fast, but being mindful at the same time, being mindful of what I can do, what a week looks like, setting a new regime, new rhythm, because I don't want to miss out on those fun things that I do with my kids now. I don't want to miss out on some partner time, and I don't want to miss out on the cool things that are happening within business as well. So it's still a work in progress. Yeah. I don't think we ever stop. It's just finding what's right for me. What balance I need.
You love a challenge.
I love a challenge. I'll rise to any challenge.
Tell me about some of these challenges like Tough Mudder and True Grit and the Q1 Stair Challenge. Why?
Yeah, just to say I've done it. Just to say that you can, just pushing the body a little bit further. I've pushed my mind, and I've really exercised. Oh, hang on, I was I wasn't that good at school. I dropped out of school so I could just work with my hands. And working with my hands, I'm good at, but hang on a minute, that was a failed business attempt. And then as I've learnt through business, I'm like exercising the mind, constantly exercising the mind of reading books and audios and really understanding more about business than I ever knew before. The body was deteriorating very, very quickly. I just wasn't looking after it. And that's the fuel, right? If I'm not fueling it properly. And you may know a guy called Nam Baldwin. He worked with Mick Fanning. He's a breathe coach and a holistic health coach. I listened to him for about 2.5 hours. I was there with my wife, listened to him, and he was the one that said, not to fuel the body with, the garbage. Fuel the body with the right sauce, as you wouldn't put diesel in a petrol car. And that really hit me, and that's when I started stepping up to some of these challenges. I'm like, all right, and see how far I can push my body. Stair climb. I did it pretty much did it by myself for the first year. Now I've got an army of 20 people following me, wanting to do it.
How many stairs on that stair climb at Q1? Just so everyone knows, Q1's, I think, still the tallest residential building.
Yeah, it's in the background there.
Yeah, on the Gold Coast. How many stairs?
It's 79 flights.
79 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
And last time I seen you did it with your son.
Yeah, so
that was awesome.
Yeah, I faked his age. got him in there. He was keen. He was training with me. So we go down the Currumbra and train down on a set of stairs down there. He come with me, wanted to do it, and I said, all right, mate, I'll get you in. So he did it. He smoked me up there. And now I'm just tripping him up as he tries to go up each year. But, he did really well. And now it's a thing. Like I said, we've got 24 of us last year that did it.
So now you've got some healthy routines in there as well, not just business.
So just pushing the body a little bit further than what I was doing just in mind. It was physical.
Let's jump back into the story, because there's so much gold here, and I really want to make sure we don't lose the business story here, because I know if I was sitting there, because I remember when I was just coming back from being bound, I set a goal to build an 8-figure business. At the time, it was like I'd never done it before. And I went to a camp in New York, like a training thing. And one of the things they made us do was, their solution to this problem was write down on a piece of paper what you'd love to get out of this weekend and make it in an aeroplane, throw it into the crowd. And I said, I want to learn to build an 8-figure thing, put my name on there. And 3 people came up to me as a result of that plane being passed around and helped me out. I was just desperate to know, how do you do it? So I want to get into that a little bit more. So you've gone all in, you've got one product now, this Lauxes Grates. You had a handful of distributors and now you got over 2,000. How did that actually happen? What were the activities that helped? What were the milestones or the big turning points that actually made that happen? What attracted new distributors? What were the driving things that grew the business?
One of the core things that brought that transaction about, not working e-commerce, not having online, not selling to online stores, just selling to, business, tradies, contractors coming to these stores every day to grab their gear, grab their stuff and go on their way. They pretty much grabbing stuff daily, to go and work on projects and jobs. So how do I engage with them? So it's that engaging process of what we call our engagement, is making sure we line the people up that have that need with the actual store themselves. Because a lot, if we've spoken to them through the different types of channels that we reach out to them, they want to buy from us. It's like, no, we manufacture it, we make it. These guys will sell it to you.
So can you explain that business model a little bit for the people that don't know, that are listening? So difference between wholesale, distribution, and the question that I have once you explain that is, why did you choose that model versus going direct?
It's handling everything. So I felt like, how was I going to, if I'm running e-commerce, I'm running the store itself, then I've got to have locations, and then I've got to have stock, then I'm manufacturing it, I'm R&D in it, I'm developing it. Like I've got my own factories now set up, just purposely making this product every day. They don't make anything for anyone. It's just my product.
Is it made here, or are these the factories? I read that you have factories in China and Taiwan.
So I have 2 factories in China and 1 in Taiwan now.
Yeah.
And they just make great.
Just make great.
That's it.
For you.
Just for simplicity for the listeners as well, is it you just sell purely the lineal media to the retail trade outlets? There's no custom, there's no nothing. That's for the tradie to then manufacture.
Yeah, it's a good point. So from that unique proposition, not only is the product unique, I approached tiling stores and plumbing stores to say, hey, I sell it to you in 18 foot, which is 5.6 metre long. Great. I manufactured this, I've engineered it, I've certified it, I'll sell it to you. All you got to do is cut it up as a customer or trade comes through and wants to at a certain length. And they're like, oh, I can't cut this up. I'm like, what if I give you a drop saw to cut it up? Will you sell it? Yeah. So that was one of my first round trips and door knocking. I literally drove down to Sydney Tools, bought a drop saw, dropped it back on their counter and said, here's your drop saw. Do you want to order some? And of course I walked away with an order, and I replicated that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And now we bring in 40-foot containers of drop saws, all logoed, branded, and I give them out to these stores.
This is the detail, right? This is the stuff that I want to, like, I want more of that. Like, that's purple cow. What dude turns up with a drop saw? It says, hey, you want a drop saw? You just got to sell my grates.
But now it's a systemised thing too. The whole thing's end to end. It's like it's a system. You get my saw, you get my linear meter, you get the training package, you get the whole shebang. So once they're in, they're sticky. They're probably going to stay with your great system versus someone's coming through now thinking, oh, this is a great business to get in and model it, but they can't. You've got your moat.
Correct.
Hyperlogical. There's the problem. I don't cut stuff. Well, what if I give you a drop saw? Like,
It's a problem. You know, a mentor of mine just said to me, where there's a problem, there's profit. Okay, and I keep looking for those problems. You know, whether it's in the grade itself, because the variations of the product now they're problems that I never thought would arise in a project, and we'll just keep eliminating them one at a time.
So the tradie comes in, they order it, they chop it, they just buy it by the meter,
and off he goes.
They just pick the colour or the style.
Correct.
And that's incredible.
I was just going to say, like, what a great idea. Hey? No, I know you like your puns.
I love me puns. He's got some great puns.
God, that's such a dad joke. Oh my God.
You didn't even get it.
I don't know. It's that bad.
It's that bad.
It's all right. Well, I sell toilets, mate. The puns do not stop. So here you are, you're selling, again, and it's not a sexy product, right? No. Like, it's a grate. No. It's a water grate, but every house has several grates, right? Yes. And you've just gone deep on a better solution. So you've gone around, you've spent all this time focusing on this one problem, and now you've expanded by just hard work, really. It's just door knocking, talking to people, and then I guess the momentum builds, that the word spreads through the tradies. The customers ultimately love the product in their house. Yeah,
it's not instant gratification. That's for sure. And so, like e-com, you know, you can wait, you know, load products in, you get that instant gratification. Oh, geez, heaps of people have bought it. With this business, it really does take, you know, if not 3 to 4 months after the initial traction. So, what I didn't realise at the start is I was spending 3 or 4 months doing something, realising I wasn't getting much business or getting the traction I wanted. I'd go on to the next product. I wasn't giving it the time. So that's a big key lesson for me, is now I stuck it out. That persistency and consistency now provides the value in this business.
Let me ask you a question about China and Taiwan.
Yep.
So are you, did you find a manufacturer of similar products over there, and then have they created a sort of a division within their business that's yours, or have you actually set up a factory in those places?
So I've got plenty of stories for you, Adam.
Mate, I love this stuff.
I've got so many. In China's, I could talk all day about my different experiences that I've had. But in essence, the first company that was making for it in a section of their factory, they ran off with all my money. So I lost about 200K in a big order. So I had a real frantic phone call from one of the ladies that worked at the store. And she stressed to me that, Mr. Dawson, there's a problem. So I got on the first plane, we got over there and realised that, the previous owner of that factory, everyone's got horror stories of China, but this was my horror story. And they'd welded the shop up and they were gone. So everything was gone. My orders weren't coming. I'd had 150 odd different businesses purchasing off me. I had to do something pretty quick. So I literally drove around the streets in one of the little blue trucks. If you've ever been to China, you've seen the little blue trucks, picking up machinery and sorting things out to get a factory set up. So we set our own factory up, started doing all the material, punching, drilling, like lasering, colouring, everything we had to do to.
So hang on, whereabouts in China was this?
This is about 45 minutes outside of Foshan.
Out of
Foshan.
Foshan.
Yep.
So you're in Foshan, right? This white dude running around doing what? Like buying shit from.
Buying shit.
Do they
Teaching
even
them.
speak English?
No. Not at all.
Charades is a big game.
This is an unreal
And
story.
someone's just taking 200 grand off you.
So you're 200 grand. They know you've probably been robbed, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that motivation for the young girl, so she still continues to work for us to this day. So she's
translating.
Yeah, she's translating. So her she's quite young at the time as well. So she's translating. My partner can translate, so he's able to translate some of the conversation, and we just. It was scary.
So you're in a hotel having your morning breakfast. You go out the next day with this girl. Everyone knows you've been robbed, and you say like, "I want to set up a factory here in this foreign country."
Yep.
As she goes and finds a space, finds some people, and you start buying all the stuff you need.
Yeah.
Literally set up a factory in China.
Yeah.
And you still have it to this day.
Absolutely.
So how did you?
Now we employ, pretty much the whole village.
Is that
because
right?
It's all they keep it close knit with the family, so the extended family. So just before COVID, I went over and I sat there with them, and they invited all their relatives and everything like that. I think we booked out a restaurant because just to show the gratitude and thanks. And that was a light bulb moment for me, is the impact that I've made on a small village that manufactures some of the best quality product in the world.
How many people are in there?
At any one stage, we could have 40 in that one factory. But yeah, on the core staff is about 15.
How developed an area is it? Is it kind of like third worldy or?
Yeah, pretty primitive, yeah.
Pretty
Wow.
primitive.
Yeah. And through COVID was the interesting one, is we had hundreds of people in the village lining up at the front of our factory wanting to know what the hell we're doing, why we're still moving, why we're still making product, or because it was selling, so I need it. And most people weren't getting containers out of China, but we're still making it. I said, don't stop. Just keep making it until it hits the roof. When it hits the roof, start building another pile. And they're like, yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Dawson, we'll do this. And so it's just keeping communication with them, because they were scared. They were scared at that time.
Just out of interest, like how big a space is it in China, roughly?
Say 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that in square meters?
1,000.
1,000 square meters? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're obviously
about
you're
500.
Your
Three-
math obviously
three
isn't your
feet to-
strong point.
3 feet. You're 3 feet to a metre, right?
No, you divide it by
nine.
about 9.
Nine.
Oh, right.
But it's all right, James.
9 square feet, yeah.
Yeah.
I only just know this
Edit
because
that
it's
bit
set
out.
up in America. So
I'm just fascinated because this is this is a Netflix documentary in my head. Like, honestly, this really is.
Like, people
Nobody
complain
talks about this shit. This is actually real shit. This Aussie white dude over there setting up, a manufacturing plant in the middle of nowhere in China.
yeah.
What are the rents for something like that? Just out of interest.
At the time, we were paying, I think it was like $3 a square metre.
Okay.
But because the uncle owns the building, and then we just expanded. Yeah, it's like I said, it's all just family.
This is an epic story. And Taiwan, what happened there?
So, the reason for Taiwan, so we started shipping in the raw product into Australia. So started doing the new colours in Australia under a company here in Australia, that was giving us the 25-year guarantee on the UV stabilisation. So you can now use this product because everyone's got inventive with it. They're now using outside, so across balconies. There's a huge need for the product around pool areas. I don't want the colour to discolour, so that's why we now offer a 25-year discoloration warranty on it. No, it stands up against the Australian UV, because Australia has some of the highest UV in the world, and it tarnishes and damages products. So doing that, I'll work with this company here in Australia. Taiwan was to support that and back up, so I can support that product right around the world. I can't just keep bringing everything to here and then farming it out from Australia to the rest of the world. So that's what the reason for setting up over there. Now I've got UV stable product going right around the world.
Have you got photos of the crew in China, like in front of the factory in there?
Yeah, I've got a few.
I'd love to. If you've got them, I'd love you to send them to us afterwards so we can throw them up. And Greg, if we have got them, let's throw them on the screen, because I'd love to see that story. And the same with Taiwan, because people see a guy like you and they don't understand like the level of hustle. Like that is just. So how many people in Taiwan?
So at the moment, there's only 10 that work in that factory.
Yeah.
So they're doing a bits and pieces of everything at the moment, just to get things moving.
And is that your factory again, or is that just in?
Yeah,
inside?
it's like a JV.
A JV,
Like a JV,
yeah,
just
yeah.
set up just for us though. Yeah, they don't make
Amazing.
other stuff.
Everyone else, talk shit and bullshit, going, yeah, I have my factory. I own my factory in China. I run my own factory in China, right? When nobody really does. But like, this is legit, running his own factory. Like, people complain here, oh, I got to go and find a lease and set up, and oh, it's just too hard. Like, this guy's in the middle of China and doing this. Like,
you remind me of American Gangster, when the Denzel Washington jumped in the boats to get his heroin direct from the suppliers in the middle of the jungle. And that's how he made his money. And it's a great story. It's what you're doing.
Yeah, well, no one's going to do it for us, right? So no one was going to set it up. Who's interested in doing that? And at the first, it was Taiwan was a little bit different. They could see the value in what we're offering. So that's only been open for the last 18 months. But the Chinese factory, they didn't know what we're going to do. Like I said, in COVID, they're like, oh, we're shut down, let's go look for other jobs. No. Stop.
And so with that, then you go back to that when you got 200 grand robbed and whatnot, you're in China on the ground and you've got 150 suppliers waiting for product. What was the time frame from you to out there with your interpreter putting this together to get actual container off on the water? The phone calls you've got with 150 suppliers trying to keep them going.
In the middle of fucking bumfuck.
Yeah, we probably don't have any mobile connection as well, and you're trying to put together a factory. So how long did it take from start to get a container on the water?
Jesus.
So after 2 weeks, I'd had that's incredible.
I know you guys laugh, but
I'm gonna call this Kangaroo Tim from now on. This Kangaroo Tim, because this fucking guy, 2 weeks.
And it nearly cost me my marriage because I spent so much time there, and I was trying to. I needed to get it done.
Yeah.
And I needed to do this because I got commitment. And one of the companies now, which is certainly one of our biggest wholesalers of our product in Australia, they, the pressure was on. I need the product. I explained to them like what had happened, and it's coming. So from me landing there, 10 weeks later, I had product. So I fast vesseled a 20-foot, and it landed just before Christmas. So just before Christmas, we got it all sorted. They were able to fulfill all their orders. But we've had bigger challenges than that because, with containers and stocking and all sorts of stuff. But I got it there 10 weeks later.
You might have had some other challenges with containers and whatnot, but that's a pretty wild, unique story. I don't think anyone could match that. So anyone out there that's talking about hustle, that's it. In a foreign country, in a village of all places, and pulling that together in 10 weeks is bonkers.
Well, even when it was ready to load and pack, I remember ringing my travel agent and saying, hey, can you book me a flight? I'm going there Saturday, come back Monday. She goes, oh, you're going for dinner? I said, no, I'm physically going over there to check that it's right before it's packed in this container to bring over, because I need it right. Like if I wait 10 days or 12 days for it to vessel over, I don't have the ability to turn it around or make new stuff, or I need to make sure it's right. So I literally flew over to check that order, and I'm like, right, we're on. It's exactly how I need it, because we've got quality, right? Like it's not something you can just go and buy off the street.
No, you can lose your brand in like one bad container.
Yeah,
it's that important.
It's that important to get right, and we're talking 0.2 of a millimeter of from the sizing to the punching to the finish of it. I put a lot of pride into this product to make sure it's the best.
And for people listening that are beginners here, I want you to understand something as Tim's talking. He sells a shower grate and he's saying it's complex. Yep. Some of you guys sitting at home going, I'm going to create the world's next best esky that's going to have an MP3 Bluetooth player. It's going to be custom molded. It's going to have a special storage compartment and all this. I'm like, dude, this guy's selling shower grates and there's 50 ways to Sunday that you can fuck it up.
Yep.
Correct?
100%.
Don't go complex if you're manufacturing in China like that, a custom product. It's already complex enough, because whatever can go wrong in China, like there's Murphy's Law and then there's China's law.
Yeah.
It makes Murphy look like a walk in the park.
Because you're manufacturing it, as you said, it's your custom design. Is it patentable because it's a grate? Can you patent your specific way, or have you patented it?
That's a whole nother podcast.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a whole other podcast. The way that, so from design protection to the movement to the IP law to trademarking as well. So there's three key areas where I've had a hell of a lot of experience over the last few years. But it's been some really interesting stuff. So as I said, I've got, from just that itself, what it's worth, how to do it, when to do it. There's a whole podcast in itself.
Sure.
But I've learned a bucket load in the last 2 or 3 years with how all that works.
Round 2 might be really good on China, China.
Yeah.
So When you were there on the ground setting up this new factory, what people need to remember is you got robbed of $200,000 the week before.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
Now, when you were there, were you nervous at all? Like, were you thinking like that? Like, guys are thinking you're going to come looking for them? Like, you're in the middle of China, you know, gangs, all this stuff. Did you have any thought of, like, fearful for, well, not your life, but just...
So that factory they literally welded the front gates up. So I went with my partner over there, and we sat down with the landlord, and, you know, obviously doesn't speak English, and we said to him, hey, we want to get inside to see if there's any of our reminiscence of our order left, like we need to get in there. He's like, no, you're not getting in. And he's like, oh, how do we get into the factory? And I said, look, I need to get in there. I just need to get through. And he's like, no, pay the month's rent. So we went down to the bank, pulled out RMB, and took him back this cash. He let us in there. They grinded the front gates, got in there, and there was nothing left. There was a few bits and pieces, but yeah, the bulk of the order, which was, like I said, 140 US, so it's about 200,000.
Did they actually make anything, do you think, or they just took the money and ran?
It was supposed to be shipped, so that's why I got the call. I thought, it's ready to come, and to let me know that it was all over. There was nothing there. So supposedly the guy that was running that factory had a gambling problem, and he took off and left. Geez, they had 150 odd staff at the time in that factory. It was a pretty decent sized factory.
I asked this question to someone on the podcast last week. Like, why wouldn't you just quit then and just thought, you know what, like this must be somebody telling me, you know?
I guess the kick in the guts was still not as big as, as big as what I'd had. You know, like I've had bigger kicks, and and that's only one part of the story, and there's been plenty more along the way. Like I said, I've got so many different areas of where I could dive into. You know, whether it's China, whether it's IP law, whether it's the Australian standards. I've got a whole podcast just on that. It's quite an interesting thing, like I said, and from a manufacturing point of all the different touch points to make sure that it's right, the consistency on what we expect, and it's teaching them how to create and develop stuff as well. So there's a lot to discuss.
Surviving bankruptcy probably put a bit of steel in your spine for that stuff.
Absolutely, I believe so. And I like to sit here with you guys and look back and go, okay, well that was it was a tipping point, and it was a size 12 foot up my bum that I probably needed, but it gave me some perspective, shifted my mindset into what is possible. So any other challenge that comes along like that, because at the time I didn't think about the money I just lost. I'm thinking about the money that I haven't got yet. If I wreck that relationship, I can only imagine that one key guy in Australia that was selling a fair bit of our product at the time, letting him down. He's a bloody nice guy. I've built that relationship. I don't want to let him down. I don't want to let my partner down because I'm hedging all my bets on this product. I guess it was that protecting some of those relationships.
Reputation's everything.
And the reputation of that. I didn't want to lose that.
Yeah, it's funny, as I listen to you talk, when I get DMs every day from people and they're all like, oh, I've got this product that's amazing, it's going to change the world. And I said, your product's only about 5% of the whole picture.
Yeah.
I said, it's the 95% of shit that you're going to have to go through if you're going to get penetration to any degree. And hearing this story is such a reminder. It's not how good the product is, it's how much of a smashing you're prepared to take over years. All of us at this table, except Eric, Teflon, fucking Eric over here never fails. But we've all had a solid belting in business, and that's what makes you who you are. And like I was reading in here, you're talking about how transparent you are now, how honest you are. In the end, you've been fucked that many times that there's no good trying to hide it anymore. It's just everybody, it's a crude joke, but it's true. It's like everyone congratulates you when you're pregnant, but nobody knows how many times you were fucked to get there.
Correct.
It's true.
It's very true.
It's true. That's business.
Yeah, it's business.
James, you got something on your mind there?
No, just...
So your entrepreneurial journey, I know your brother is in business as well. So was entrepreneurship in your family?
No.
It's
when I was running an electrical company, my brother was whinging and complaining about his boss at the time, and I said, "Well, just do your own thing." So literally, we had the electrical business out of the garage. He was running his sign shop out of the garage, and we've advanced from there. So it was just, let's not bother working for other people. And like I said, through my failures, has helped him, trim up his business to make sure he doesn't go down the same track as me. And then we started the program together, so we both worked in that pro trade program. And we learned a lot about business because, and now to this day we have mum working in the business. She's been a phenomenal asset to the company. So I brought her in, and she's part of the furniture now. She runs all my people.
How old are you?
43 this year.
43. You're still so young. So,
It's got a baby face, eh?
Yeah. No, 43. Yeah. So what I love is just before we rolled tape here, I said, I just read that you've got a deal in the US, and 80% of your revenue is now Australia. So you've still got the whole world ahead of you.
Yes.
What I love is I asked you how many distributors you had. You said about 2,000, but I just read that you had just gotten in with a distributor in the US that has over 2,000 retailers.
Yeah.
Just in that chain.
Just in there.
Yeah, and I said, is that the 2,000? And you went, no, that's another 2,000.
Yep.
That's like double your whole business from one relationship in the US. But you said, I don't count it until they're all selling my product because you only just happened in the last month. Tell us a little bit about that deal. How did that deal come? Who's the partner? How did it eventuate? What was it like negotiating that, and what are the steps there?
Well, it's a continuation of negotiation. So it's understanding that there's a problem in their market, and we're solving that problem for them with the product. So they understand that. Then you talk to your key, because there's so many key people in their business, from decision makers to people that that are coming in and wanting the product as well. So it's
Are they a retailer?
They're a plumbing retailer.
A plumbing retailer. What would be an equivalent in Australia?
Reese in Australia.
Reese Plumbing?
Yeah, Reese Plumbing in Australia is the biggest plumbing company here in Australia. And these guys, Ferguson's, they're the biggest plumbing chain in America.
So you're now on their approved supplier list.
Yeah.
So what do you do to get all 2,000 of those then now?
Making sure we drive traffic to their stores, traffic to go, hey, you can purchase it through this store. So like the trade fair that I'll be at next week, it's going, hey, Ferguson's can get this product for you. They want it. Contractors, architects, landscape, all the different trades that want it can now buy it through there.
So you fly to the US, you go to trade shows, and the people at the trade shows are builders, plumbers,
constructors,
and they seeing the new products, and then so you're just telling the market, and then you're directing them to them, and that's how you build the business in the US. So you get the distribution points, there you go to the trade fairs, and the two come together.
Engage them,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But especially this one. This is what the American one for us is. Is that new? It's a start. It's that foundational step. So we're doing it here in Australia, like it gets tiring going there. The big days on your feet, the 12-hour day standing on your feet.
They're huge, right? I've done trade shows here. I hate them because of that.
Because of that.
It's hard work. People don't understand.
No, they
Talking
don't.
to a lot of people and you're just rooted at the end of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, huge days from the setup to running it, hosting it. But this has I've got a pep in my step. This is really exciting. This is an exciting phase for America. I'm pretty pumped, but I'll be there next week.
How are you for capacity then in your factories if you're about to literally double a business potentially within 6-12 months, retooling, expansion?
Yeah, absolutely. It was always like through the growth even in Australia. It was like, no, we need more, we need to, I can put X amount of linear meters through a mould. Otherwise it starts to get distorted for size. So making sure that we've got those expandability. So we've got, molds ready to go and from space. So how much pretty much the capacity of the factory, or constantly looking at to make sure that it can double, if not triple, what I'm doing at any one time.
With the trade show, so in the US, where is the trade show you're going to?
This one's in Vegas.
So you go to Vegas.
Yep.
What's the scale of a stand in Vegas for you? Like how many people you got on the stand? How much does it cost to do it?
So we're looking. So I've got 7 people this trip, which is a 10 by 20, which is 6 by 3 meter. So it's not a very big stand. We're looking at about $20,000 to for the spot space only to make a set. We're making the set. I'm putting together that myself with a couple of other team members. in the States and getting it there, setting it up. But we look to get about 1,200 leads from a show like that. It's a 3-day, 12-hour show, 12-hour day for 3 days. So we're looking to get 1,000 to 1,200 leads from that actual show.
And so you're getting name, phone number, email of people interested, and then what happens after the show?
We're engaging them with stores where they are in
so
their
you
local
call them
area.
up.
Yeah, so a call, email, and all the basic fundamentals.
And driving them.
And driving that traffic back through the stores.
And then the stores go, wow, this product's selling.
Yeah.
Are you doing the drop saw and all that over there?
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Look at the look on his face. He's like, fuck yeah, I paid the price. I'm ready to go.
I remember calling you about a month ago or so, just checking in. And you were in the US, and I asked you, how's it going? And you said, it's fucking hard. I forget what it's like in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Touch on that.
Yeah, it hit me pretty hard last week because, I've got pretty complacent in Australia. Things are running well. I've got amazing people that are doing amazing things every day. I've just really surrounded myself with an epic team. And my culture, again, it's probably a whole nother podcast just on culture. But, I got a little bit complacent. Everything's easy now, orders and instructions. So going over there and not having that team, not even having trade connection over there, it took me 15 different companies to go around to get a CNC machine just to cut out some board that I needed for this trade fair. Like, I've got that on tap, here. Yeah. I forgot about all those relationships, forgot about how difficult it was. So yeah, it hit me, and I think you caught me right at the end of that. Wow, I've had a big year. I've worked hard. I've done things, but I'm not going to have to do this again. So it's foundational stuff.
Now tell me about your commitment in the US. You're not just going there. You're basically living there. You've got a house there now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I found that whole going back and forth quite difficult. So setting up a house to make sure we've got a base there. I took my family there for 5 weeks over Christmas while I shut the business down for 2 weeks, kicked it off again to the start of the year. But yeah, it's just a base platform. Living out of suitcases and living out of hotels. I've done that for the last 14 years.
Where's the base?
So we're in Chino Hills in California.
I got to connect you with a friend of mine, Brian Smith. Do you know Brian?
No.
He's the founder of Ugg Boots.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And his story is very similar.
Yeah, nice.
And he's a good friend, and he shares that exact mentality when he's trying to crack the US with Ugg Boots. And I'll connect you guys. Should have a coffee. He's not far from you. So
amazing.
It's a great story. And people listening, they often think the US is just like Australia. It's a completely different world. Everything's different. I remember when I landed there, it's like, what's a C Corp and an L Corp? And
exactly.
You got to start from scratch on all the most basic things. How does this tax work? And it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a beast.
People don't realize you're really starting again. So, man, we're going to be watching with keen interest and seeing what you do there. So the next step now, I imagine, is you're going to grow the business in the US. And what are the long-term plans? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to keep it? You're going to what's in your head for the future of the business?
I think I'm past the point what I thought I'd get to through the mentoring and the programming. So I set some set some goals, and now I've reached them. I've got different perspective on them, life itself, things that I want to do. So if I get to that 50 mark, I've given myself to 50. So 7.5 more years. What position I'm in at that time, whether I could carry on the business and continue to mentor and grow the whole company, rather than just work in it, because I'm still the driver, still the CEO, and look at trying to ensure that I've got a team that are carrying through the legacy. So I think it's ultimately we're changing the world one grade at a time. So whether it's one piece of grate, one great conversation, one great contact, or one great catch up with a coffee, I just want to do great things. And I know as corny as that sounds, that's what I'm ultimately out to do. So if I get to that 50 mark and I want to continue to do great things, which I can't see that switching off, why turn it off? Why stop this? Why cap the beast? I think this has got the potential, and the further I look around the world, we've got the best product in the world. I'm just going to make sure the world knows about it.
There's a lot of drains out there.
There is a lot.
And it's, you don't need to go that wide. You just go deep, and it's fantastic. Okay.
I've been dying to ask you this question. Mm-hmm. You're pretty solid guy, right? Tough Mudder, True Grit, Q1 Stair Challenge, in the middle of China, in the middle of nowhere, setting up factories, talking to people. Yep. And I know that you spoiled yourself recently with a Porsche.
Yeah.
An electric Porsche.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? an electric Porsche? Why not a V8, mate? Tell me. And this can't be about sustainability because you're running big factories.
Nah, it's not about not sustainability. I guess the idea of an electric vehicle, it was exciting at the time when the concept come up. But yeah, to spoil myself for my 40th birthday, the reward, the hard effort and work that I've put in, and I guess it's another distinguished side of me. It's like flying under the radar. And what I love about this vehicle is it's so damn fast, but it's not making noise.
What is it, a Taycan? Or?
A Taycan,
Yeah, wicked.
yeah. So it's inconspicuous. And if you don't watch out, it'll just fly past you, and I don't know, that resonates with me, it's a nice gift, that's for sure.
He's taking the piss, mate. Don't take him serious.
How did it feel, right, to reward yourself? Because I know us as entrepreneurs, my wife reminds me all the time, you don't celebrate your wins enough, you don't spoil yourself.
No.
And I know you're very, very similar.
Yep. No, awkward.
How did that make you feel?
Awkward. Very awkward.
Awkward.
Yeah, very awkward. Like I said, rewarding yourself isn't. I don't do it for that. I don't do it for the recognition. I don't do it for the even with my no booze challenge that I'm 13 months into. I don't do it to inspire other people, but other people are seeing inspiration in that. So
Amazing.
Same with that. Is I didn't do that to inspire the people. You work hard, you roll up your sleeves, and you have a good crack at it, and you can have a car like this too. It wasn't any of that. It was just literal subtle reminders why I'm doing this sort of stuff. So it's I want to get past that awkwardness because it doesn't get any easier. Spoiling yourself or treating yourself.
No,
I don't know. It's something that doesn't exist in me.
I bet there's a part of your brain going, I could buy X amount of linear meters for this Porsche.
Absolutely.
And you know how much.
Yeah,
I know. It's exactly what happened when I bought my first fancy car. I was like, you know what I could do with this? He's the same with real estate. And when I talked to Grant Cardone when I was over there, he's just like, this is the dumbest shit ever. I should never be buying this stuff. But at the end of the day, you do have to enjoy it a little bit too, because it sneaks up on you. And as you said before, your kids don't get any younger in front of you, and you've got to enjoy it. We're not guaranteed, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Tim, this has been an absolutely fascinating and real interview, and I really appreciate, I know I speak on behalf of all of us here, and more importantly our audience, it's just so rare to have somebody on that has been through that much shit and is so candid and open about it and willing to share it all. So thank you so much on behalf of all of us, because this is exactly what we're trying to do here at Unemployable. We're trying to get into those stories and underneath them, not just to like the highfalutin concepts and the real shit that entrepreneurs go through.
Yeah.
And you've just given us a masterclass in what entrepreneurship is really all about. So thank you.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me. Really enjoyed, obviously being able to discuss the story, and that's what I said earlier. I don't have to worry about what I did say, because if I continue to tell the truth around these situations, and if it does help and inspire people, and allows other people to, to stay unemployed because they're on that journey. As you mentioned earlier, I've never seen myself as an unemployable person, but I am the definition of that, and I'm sure there's more out there that are like it. And so if that helps and provides the inspiration, then I'm going to continue to tell the truth around the good, the bad, the uglies, and all in between.
Yeah, as they say, always tell the truth. It's much less to remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah, guys. With that, big thank you, Tim, for being here today. We super appreciate it. And for all of you at home, if this podcast has touched you in any way, please drop a comment, because I know Tim's going to read them. Maybe you won't. We'll send them to you, at least the good ones. But drop a comment, because it really does mean a lot to the guests to know that their stories are landing. So thank you. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a great week out there. Thank you for listening from wherever you are. Tell your friends about the podcast, subscribe, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks for being here, everyone. Bye for now.
Thanks.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Unemployable. If you'd like to watch another episode, just click there.